Hello, we're the Outsiders Racing Team. We're a couple of lads who met many years ago surviving the harsh world of Daisy.
Not a car. What the fuck?
What started as fighting our way through Trenars together grew into lasting friendships and eventually a shared passion and addiction for sim racing. We want to take our survival mindset onto the track, that mindset being, if you made it to the checkered flag, it was a success. If you stood on the podium, it was a bonus. If disaster missed you by centimeters, it was a miracle. And if the race didn't go your way, that's just the way she goes, bud.
That's right. It's the way she goes. Sometimes she goes, sometimes it doesn't. She didn't go. It's the way she goes.
We're going to kick things off in iRacing's production car endurance in the BMW M2 G87. The circuit is Virginia International Raceway, full course. Our roster currently for this race is Camilo, Connor, and Carlos. I just realized we're a pack of seabirds. Wow. Anyways, let's see how this unfolds. Hope you guys enjoy this, and all we can do is hope this plays out alright. Now that introductions are out of the way, you might be wondering, 3 drivers for a 2-hour endurance race?
You stupid!
Not exactly ideal, but we wanted to start somewhere. The goal wasn't just the result, it was learning how driver swaps worked, managing black box settings, and figuring out how to race as a team. We spent the week practicing running several 25-minute production car challenge races to get comfortable with the setup, traffic, and our pace. Based on our average lap times, we planned for 3 40-minute stints. The lineup seemed straightforward. Connor, our quickest driver, by the smallest of margins, would qualify and start. Carlos, our slowest and most inconsistent driver, would take the middle stint. Then me, Camilo, the safest and most consistent of the 3, I think, would hopefully recover any positions we'd lost. But then, the shit show started to unravel. Right before registration, Connor was nowhere to be found. And just like my father, no answer, no nothing. And it just turns out he slept through his alarm. With no other option, Carlos and I were going to do an hour each. I'd start, and Carlos would finish. Then came an even bigger surprise. As we joined the qualifying session, the track was completely soaked. We'd spend the entire week preparing for a dry race, and we never touched water in iRacing. We had no idea what to do. Should we switch to wet tires, or stick with the slicks, or road tires? I don't even know what the hell goes on them. Other teams were already out there practicing and qualifying on wets, and for a moment we thought we were completely screwed. But after a bit of panic, we chilled the fuck out and gambled on the track drying up. Normal, right? Now when I say the track was soaked, I might have, exaggerated a bit. It wasn't fully wet, just scattered puddles around the circuit. Still, every time I touched one, it felt like I was about to end up in a wall. For my first qualifying lap, I took it easy and focused on feeling the conditions. Once I got a clean lap in, I decided to stop respecting the water and drive like it wasn't even there at all. Somehow, that was enough for pole position with a blisteringly slow 2-minute 8.527. And with that, it was time for the race.
Get ready, it's going green. Post car is off, time to do your job. Green flag, green flag.
As the formation lap was finishing up, I was trying to get into my head that I shouldn't go 100% or even 90 until the track dried up. Didn't take long for drama to start. Right before turn 3, car number 4 must have not heard his spotter and basically turned into car 24 and going off track. Then on turn 5, car number 11 seems to try a risky overtake with barely any space and hits car number 2 and spins out into a wall, picking up a meatball. Keeping the lap 1 madness going, the Toyota clips car number 7, BMW, causing him to spin out right at turn 12.
Hubo un accidente atrás, vi.
Sí, lo vi. O sea, lo escuché. Even the netcode had its say in the drama, making car 77 just... yeah. I mean, I'm too scared to try and overtake on turn 14 there. Meanwhile, I'm keeping the lead, uncontested, and keeping my cool. Not much happened in lap 2, just a little jump scare from a puddle, and just concentrating and trying to gain more of a gap from the car in P2.
Y a mayores se están pegando entre los otros dos. O sea, entre los dos que van detrás tuyo.
Casi se me va, eh?
What happened? Uf.
I put 2 more clean laps and rejoicing at the sight of the sun and seeing the track slowly dry up. I was surprisingly not nervous, even though I was in a position to be nervous. I noticed car number 2 was taking positions and quickly gaining on me, so I knew I may have to fight soon. On lap 5, on the back straight before turn 14, he decided to attack after getting a nice draft, and away he goes. I didn't want to risk anything. He was way faster than me. The lap before this, he put a 2:03, which was already a second off my best time in practice.
No pasa nada, no pasa nada. Tú sigue. Intenta pillarle un poco de referencia. ¿Sabes qué estoy viendo?
Right after, at the start of lap 6, in turn 1, car number 4 is again in a bit of drama as a Toyota comes out of the pit lane and he seems to turn into him again. I'm no race steward, and I want to invite anyone watching to comment down below on any of these incidents because I may just blame the innocent.
Slow car
Oh,
ahead. Go right.
lo vi,
There's an
eh.
incident ahead. Car right. Clear on the right.
After that, it was another uneventful lap, but we were trying to figure out how we can change black box settings. There were still like 40 minutes left in my stint, but we still wanted to know how. Carlos Googled, and Google told him no, you can't, but I was 100% sure you could after watching other teams race. In the middle of the scramble, on lap 8, the car in P1 went off on turn 10, which was the turn I dreaded the most and was also bound to make a mistake in.
Elementos de la pantalla de tu compañero, la interfaz de racing individual.
You got a slow car on the
Todo
left.
lo que configures con Alt K solo afecta lo que ves en tu programa.
Car on your left. Clear.
Ojo. Ah, este era el primero, claro, ¿no?
Nevertheless, in the next sector he still made enough time to get ahead of me on the front straight.
Car on your left.
En la 10. Vaya, casi lo salvo, Heavy. Hizo toda la 10 derrapando así de lado
Clear.
y no lo logró aguantar. Por poquísimo.
After that, I did my fastest lap of the session, a .05.992, and I just started bantering with Carlos, talking about how we slept good, so we don't sleep through alarms like Connor. I put another safe 2 laps, and I was feeling really comfortable, and since this was a race with a way lower SOF than what I'm used to, I really felt like it was an easy podium that we had in the bag.
Primera vuelta, venga, Bull, daño en todas las ruedas. Notificación de Discord, te han echado del grupo.
The outsiders. The enemy.
Sí.
Este hijueputa.
Car right.
Me está troleando, ¿ves?
Stay on the left.
Sí,
Clear.
el Toyota.
4.07.
No.
Clear.
Tranqui, tranqui, no pasa nada. Tú sigue, 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 sigue.
Let's make sure we rejoin.
Yup, I finally got into some drama myself. I'd like for you guys to be the judge of this, but I feel like I was at fault. I should have stuck more to the left. There's more space than I thought, and I should have held the brakes the whole way through to not invade the track. I still rejoined and still in P2, but with P3 closing in. The car was not feeling bad at all I had was damage on the front end. I was so glad I didn't get sent into the pits, but later that lap again, I got into some drama. I made contact with P3 as he was overtaking me, and I got a bit frustrated.
Left side. Keep to the right. Still there, hold your line. Still there, stay on the right.
Si vas a sobrepasarse rápido, weón.
Clear on the left.
Ya, como que hay algunos que les cuesta, ¿no?
Joder.
Así como que van súper indecisos.
Y encima me intentas. After that incident where I took his rear bumper, he managed to overtake me on the front straight, and I spent the rest of the lap following him. And then in the last sector, I was coming up on him, and he showed me some good racing taking a defensive inside line on turn 1.
Infarto o algo así puede ser, ¿no?
Ni idea. Sí, me lo voy a comer, porque él es relento en esta parte.
Dale, dale.
Creo que debería haber comido más bufo.
Eso suena un poco homosexual, pero te entendí.
Sí, la verdad.
Car right. Clear.
De
Car right.
derecha.
Clear on the right.
De derecha liberada.
I kept following him and I noticed that the car in P1 just got a meatball. Turns out this is what happened. And that's why I'm scared to overtake on that turn.
Right side. Clear on the right.
Bueno, estoy perdiendo. No te encuentro de nuevo. Oh, se acaba de salir un BMW Heavy, weón. Atrás, el número... Sí, sí.
Me queda para 17 vueltas. Eso es... Nada, me da tiempo. Ya yo te relleno... Uy, ¿cómo?
Losing on the car in front. The gap is 1.8 seconds.
Vale.
When I was qualifying, I was getting real cold, and I slapped on a sweater, but quickly regretted it because at this point of the race, I was sweating my nuts off. Anyways, 4 more laps passed, and on lap 19, we figured out somehow how to take the crew chief seat and change black box settings and such. While talking about what we needed, I picked up 2 off tracks, but nothing serious. Then at turn 10, some Toyota drama happened in front of us, taking out 2 drivers. Check it out. Carlos was calculating how much fuel he needed for his stint, which we should have done beforehand, yes, but oh well. Then came turn 10, and I finally made a mistake on it, which was bound to happen. I'm just glad it happened 45 minutes into my stint, and yeah. The rest of my stint was fairly uneventful. Carlos and I spent most of the time chatting and joking around while getting ready for the driver swap. As his stint got closer, I gave him a few tips on some corners he asked, and kept reminding him of one thing: stay safe. I was really happy with how things had gone so far. We were running much better than I expected, We still had our fast repair available, and everything was looking pretty good as I hand over the team's trust to Carlos.
Te quedan más o menos
Escucha, voy a pitear
dos
después de
vueltas.
esta vuelta. Revísame box, por favor.
Vale, voy. Vale,
Ahí voy.
venga, vamos allá. Ay, ahí vamos. Muy bien. De
Uy,
momento no me sale
no
nada.
hay pit limit, en el coche.
Pit box in
No hay.
10,
No, espero que no me den un penalti.
5,
Me pasé como 1 kilómetro nada más.
2,
¿Listo?
Nada, no pasa nada.
Right
Yo
here.
ya estoy.
all the
Sácame,
damage is
¿puedes?
repairable.
No,
Vale. Ahora,
ahora sí.
¿estás dentro? No homo.
Vale, sí, estoy dentro, estoy dentro.
Okay, punch it.
Muy bien, dale.
Estoy...
Bullshit clock's ticking.
A mí es porque no se maten enfrente de mí y me revienten.
Sí, sí. No, que ya casi paso. O sea, ¿te diste del frente o
Pero-
no?
Sí, un poquito. ¿Ves?
All right,
¿Ves?
clear on the right.
¿Viste?
Sí, sí. Uy.
Pero gilipollas, tira para allá, hostia.
Car on your left.
Ahí,
clear
eso,
on the
para
left.
allá, imbécil. Dios mío.
Oh my. The start of the stint was chaotic. I picked up an off track and a car contact, but no problem. There was still a lot of the race to go, and a lot could happen. I let Carlos do a bit of laps on his lonesome. I had to go get changed because as soon as this race finished, I had to go straight to work. Carlos proceeded to do 5 laps, very steady pace, and I started to get really excited because the guy in P2 sped in pits when he did his pit stop, and we managed to pick up that position. O sea, lo que he escuchado sobre este coche es que las marchas altas es donde está.
Ay, puta.
No pasa nada, relax. Muy bien.
Y MX5 no ha visto ninguno.
Es verdad. A lap or so went by, and Carlos kept asking me about certain corners and how I was taking them. That's when I started to feel a little bit nervous, because when I was behind the wheel, everything felt under control. Now, all I could do was watch, give advice, and hope for the best. I was still having a ton of fun though, because this is what it's all about. Tenemos 16 incidencias, 9 más y nos dan un drive-thru. Unfortunately, little by little, the warning signs started to appear.
Ay, puta. Ay,
An off track
puta
here.
madre. Puta.
Eso, muy bien, hiciste bien.
Bueno, o la
An off
agarras
track
bien,
there.
o... Qué cagada acabo de hacer ahí. Sí.
Bueno, quedan 44 minutos. Estate dentro, And another one there.
Ah, pues puta.
And Carlos just couldn't seem to stop collecting them. Ahora en que sale.
Oh, mierdón.
Cuidado, Toyota.
Sí.
By now, we were 1 car contact away from a drive-through penalty. I kept telling Carlos the same thing over and over. Don't push. There was no need to take risks. We had a comfortable gap behind us, and even at 80%, P2 was still ours. All we had to do was survive.
¡Oh! No. No.
Relax, bien, métete. Estás liberado. Muy bien. Estamos bien. Nos quedan 2 incidencias. Ay, nos dieron...
oye.
No, nos dieron meatball. Tienes que entrar al pit. And so it happened. The meatball flag. Carlos told me the car was just... Oof. All he could do was limp the car back to the pits, and I told him to not hesitate to take the tow if he needed it, but somehow he managed to drag the car all the way back there. And at that point, it felt like everything we'd worked for was slipping away, but I know we could still finish. But the worst part, there was more. On the way to pits, naturally, it's hard to keep the car in the track, so we obviously picked up the drive-through penalty. But there was more. Ya tienes el fast repair.
¿Ves?
Acuérdate el pit, el pit.
After the fast repair, we still had to do a drive-through penalty for the 25 incident points we managed to rack up. But Carlos managed to speed a little bit in the entrance of the pit, and he picked up another black flag. Therefore, we had to do a stop and go. By the time we realized, it was too late.
Oye, ¿por qué no me quito el...? ¿Qué pasa? No me jodas que tengo que parar 40 segundos en boxes. No me lo
¿Es
creo.
lo que te ponía?
All for 40S.
Sí, weón, mierda.
Three turns later, unfortunately, at turn 4, Carlos spun out again. And while trying to recover, he reversed back onto the track unsafely and clipped a Toyota. The contact was enough to give the Toyota a meatball flag. He completely spun out, and understandably, the driver wasn't too happy about it. What happened next caught us by surprise. The Toyota appeared to turn into Carlos, causing significant damage and giving us a meatball flag of our own. Honestly, I can't really say much about it. I understand the frustration. It was a bad situation all around, and in the end, everybody lost. All we could do is say sorry. I remember just chuckling to myself, and at that point, I knew it was over.
But wait! There's more!
At this point, the car barely steered anymore. There was no chance of driving it back, so we took the tow and started praying that somehow we could still avoid a DNF. There were about 30 minutes left. The result was gone, but honestly, I just wanted to see the checkered flag. While we were sitting in the pits, Carlos was trying to figure out why his pit service widget wasn't showing up. His HUD wasn't set up properly, so we couldn't even see how long the repairs were going to take. So there we were, chatting, clicking random buttons, trying to figure things out. What I didn't realize was that Carlos had his foot buried in the throttle the whole time.
Lo acabas de ver lo que acaba de pasar.
Sí.
That's the way she goes, bud. Race over. Not because of the crash, not because of the penalties, not because of a meatball. We blew the engine while parked in the pits.
Really, nigga?
And that's all she wrote. We ended up with a DNF, but we still did enough for a P8 in our split. On a personal note, I had a lot of fun. I didn't even think I could survive a full hour stint, and now I'm genuinely looking forward to doing more. Hopefully we can do a special event sometime. The Outsiders debut was a complete disaster, but honestly, that just gives us something to build on. There's only one direction from here, and that's up. Next time, we're looking at maybe doing Spa. If we can line everything up, and rest assured, we'll be a lot more prepared. To anyone we might have affected out there, we're very sorry. We'll definitely be working harder as a team to stay clean and bring more consistent races. And if you've got feedback, feel free to drop it in the comments, or roast us, that's fair too. We've also got a Discord if you want to talk about sim racing, hang out, or maybe even join the team. That'll be in the description. And with that, see you later.